Have you ever started your morning with something that feels healthy but leaves you tired, achy, or foggy a few hours later? Maybe a bowl of cereal, some toast, a bit of jam, and coffee. And yet, by mid-morning, your joints ache, your legs feel heavy, and your hands tingle slightly when you reach for something. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Thousands of men over 60 feel that way every single day, and they often don't realize what's really happening inside their bodies. I want you to picture a man named Harold. He's 67, retired from a long career as an electrician. A good man, still active, still sharp, but lately he told me something that hit close to home. He said, "Doc, I wake up stiff, and my feet feel like they're asleep. It's like the blood just doesn't move like it used to." When I asked him what he usually had for breakfast, he smiled and said proudly, "I eat healthy, just cereal and milk every morning." That's when I knew we had to talk. Hello, I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and for over 30 years, I've helped men just like Harold understand what's really going on in their bodies as they age, especially when it comes to circulation and inflammation. Because the truth is, what you eat first thing in the morning can either open up your arteries like clear, flowing rivers or clog them up like slow, muddy streams. And that difference determines how much oxygen and blood reach your heart, your muscles, even the most vital areas of your manhood. Now, most people think circulation is just about the heart, but your breakfast, the very first meal of your day, sets the tone for how your blood vessels behave for the next 12 hours. When you eat something that triggers inflammation, refined carbs, sugary cereals, processed bread, it's like lighting a small fire inside your arteries. You don't feel it immediately, but the lining of your blood vessels becomes irritated and sticky. That sticky lining traps fat and slows blood flow. Over time, it's not just about heart health. It's about your energy, your brain clarity, even your ability to perform in intimate moments. That's why I call it the breakfast trap. So many men over 60 fall into it, eating what they think is light or healthy, but it's quietly working against them. Harold was a perfect example. He thought he was doing everything right. Low-fat milk, a brand that claimed heart healthy right on the box. But within an hour of eating, his insulin would spike, his blood sugar would shoot up, and his blood vessels would tighten. That tightening made it harder for oxygen to move through his muscles and brain. And when your circulation slows, you feel sluggish, you lose stamina, and yes, your manhood feels it too. But here's the good news. Once Harold switched to what I call an anti-inflammatory breakfast, everything started to change. Within 2 weeks, he told me, "Doc, I feel warmer in my hands and feet, and I don't need that extra cup of coffee to get going anymore." His blood pressure improved, his morning walks got easier, and his wife, well, she noticed the difference too. So what's the secret? It's simpler than you think. Your breakfast should calm inflammation, not spark it. It should keep your arteries relaxed and your blood flowing freely. One of the best ways to do that is by combining foods that are naturally rich in antioxidants and healthy fats, things that help your body fight the little fires caused by aging and stress. Now, before I tell you what that breakfast looks like, let me pause and say this. If you find this kind of information helpful, or if you've ever wondered whether your breakfast could be holding you back, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me understand what topics you want more of. And go ahead and type yes in the comments if you believe your mornings could use a healthy restart. I do read them. Your feedback helps me guide this channel to better serve you. Back to our story. When Harold and I redesigned his morning, I didn't tell him to cut everything out. I told him to swap, to replace. Instead of cereal, he began with a warm bowl of steel-cut oats, but not the plain kind. We added a handful of blueberries, some walnuts, and a drizzle of olive oil. At first, he looked at me like I was crazy. "Olive oil? For breakfast?" he laughed. But after trying it, he said something powerful. "Doc, I didn't crash mid-morning. I stayed full and alert till lunch." That's when he realized the magic wasn't in eating less, it was in eating right. That combination, oats for slow, steady energy, blueberries for antioxidants, walnuts for healthy fats, wasn't just food, it was medicine. Natural, delicious medicine that soothed his arteries, improved blood flow, and reduced inflammation from the inside out. Within a month, his morning stiffness faded, and his energy level rose. His body was getting back its rhythm. What amazed Harold most wasn't the number on his blood pressure monitor. It was the warmth he felt again in his hands and feet, the clarity in his thinking, the lightness in his step. He told me, "It's like my body woke up after years of feeling half asleep." And that's the beautiful thing about the human body. It wants to heal. It just needs the right tools. Inflammation is often called the silent killer, but I like to call it the silent slowdown because it creeps in quietly, starting with little things like fatigue, stiffness, or that post-meal fog. And over time, it steals your vitality. But you can stop it right where it starts, with the first meal of your day. So as we move forward in this video, I want you to remember something simple but powerful. Your breakfast is not just food, it's a signal. Every bite you take either tells your body to fight inflammation or feed it. Harold learned that when he started his day with anti-inflammatory foods, his body responded in kind. It circulated better, it moved better, and yes, it even felt more alive in every sense of the word. If you're watching this right now and you've been feeling a bit off, maybe your morning starts slow, your energy fades, or your circulation just doesn't feel the same, know this, it's not too late. Your arteries can still be flexible. Your blood can still flow freely. You can still feel that spark of life you once did. And it can all begin with a simple, intentional change at breakfast. Now that you know the why, in the next part, we'll explore exactly what goes into that anti-inflammatory breakfast, the specific foods that help your blood flow like it used to, reduce stiffness, and support healthy energy all day long.
When Harold came back 2 weeks after starting his new breakfast, the first thing I noticed wasn't his numbers, it was his face. His color was better, his eyes were clearer, and he was walking taller. He said, "Doc, I didn't think breakfast could change how I feel this much." That's when I told him something that I've said to every man I've treated in the past 30 years. When you eat the right foods first thing in the morning, you're setting the rhythm for how every cell in your body behaves for the rest of the day. You see, circulation isn't just about blood, it's about communication. Every meal you eat sends a message to your cells. A sugary processed breakfast tells them to hold on to inflammation, to tighten blood vessels, and to store fat. But an anti-inflammatory breakfast sends the opposite signal. It tells your cells to open up, to clear out the waste, to improve blood flow, and to use energy efficiently. And that, gentlemen, is the foundation of healthy aging. Now, I know many of you watching have your routines. You've been eating the same thing for decades, maybe toast and jam, maybe coffee with a bit too much sugar. So let's walk through what a truly circulation-friendly, anti-inflammatory breakfast looks like, and more importantly, why it works. Let's start with oats, the foundation of Harold's new morning. But not the instant kind. Those are often loaded with sugar and lack the fiber that helps balance your blood sugar. I recommend steel-cut or rolled oats. They're slower to digest, which means they release energy steadily and keep your blood sugar from spiking. That steadiness keeps your arteries relaxed and your mind sharp. To that, add a handful of berries, blueberries, raspberries, or even blackberries. These are nature's anti-inflammatory gems. They're rich in compounds called anthocyanins, which help reduce oxidative stress in your blood vessels. Think of oxidative stress like rust inside a pipe. When you eat foods rich in antioxidants, you're scrubbing that pipe clean from the inside out. Harold used to joke, "Doc, these blueberries are my little plumbers," and honestly, he wasn't far off. Then comes the healthy fat, walnuts, chia seeds, or a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. This is the part many men skip, but it's absolutely vital. These fats contain omega-3s that calm inflammation and help keep your blood thin and flexible. They also nourish your nerves and joints, reducing that morning stiffness that so many of my patients complain about. Harold used to tell me his knees felt tight getting out of bed, but after a few weeks on this breakfast, that tightness started to melt away. Now, let's talk protein. You don't need a heavy breakfast to get enough protein. Just a small serving of Greek yogurt or even a boiled egg can make a big difference. Protein slows down digestion and stabilizes your blood sugar so you stay energized longer. Harold liked to mix his oats with plain Greek yogurt instead of milk. It added creaminess without the inflammation that can come from dairy. And speaking of dairy, this is a big one. Many men don't realize that after 60, their bodies become less tolerant of certain foods, especially those that cause inflammation. Milk, cheese, and processed meats can sometimes make joint pain worse or increase bloating. Harold didn't think much of it at first, but when he swapped cow's milk for almond milk, the difference was night and day. "Doc," he said, "I didn't realize how heavy I felt until I stopped." That's the thing about inflammation. You often don't know it's there until it's gone. Now, let me mention something powerful. Spices. These are your secret weapons. A pinch of turmeric in your oatmeal or smoothie can dramatically lower inflammation. Add a bit of cinnamon, and you help control blood sugar levels while improving circulation. These spices work like natural medicine, but they taste amazing too. Harold started sprinkling cinnamon on his oats and told me, "Doc, it smells like Sunday mornings again." That little pleasure matters. It makes the habit stick. And let's not forget the drink that starts your day. Most men reach for coffee, and that's fine, in moderation. But I always suggest one simple addition: a glass of warm water with lemon before your coffee. It wakes up your digestive system, hydrates your body, and supports your liver, which plays a major role in reducing inflammation. Then if you do drink coffee, try it black or with a touch of almond milk. Skip the sugar and creamers. You'll be surprised how quickly your energy stabilizes. Harold's results were remarkable, but not unusual. Within a month, his blood flow improved so much that the numbness in his toes disappeared. His blood pressure dropped slightly without medication changes. And perhaps most importantly, his energy in the mornings came back. He told me, "Doc, it's like someone opened the faucet again. I feel alive." Now, I don't want you to think of this as a diet. It's not about restriction. It's about restoration. It's about giving your body the tools it needs to repair itself naturally. The older we get, the more inflammation tries to creep in, but you can fight back, quietly, gently, and effectively with what you put on your plate. If you're watching this right now and you've been feeling that mid-morning fatigue, that stiffness in your hands, or maybe even those cold feet when you first get out of bed, just know your body is talking to you. It's asking for better fuel. So try it. For the next 7 mornings, give your body that anti-inflammatory start. Swap your sugary cereal for oats and berries. Replace milk with almond milk. Add healthy fats. Watch how your energy shifts, how your circulation feels stronger, and how that mental fog starts to lift. Before we move forward, I'd like to pause for a moment and ask if this makes sense to you. If you believe your breakfast could be doing more harm than good, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps more people over 60 find this message. And type yes in the comments if you're ready to try this kind of breakfast. I read every single comment and tailor my future videos around your feedback. Now, as Harold began to feel better, something unexpected happened. He noticed that his mood improved. His wife said he seemed more upbeat and patient, and even his memory got sharper. That's when he asked me, "Doc, could breakfast really do all that?" The answer is yes, because better circulation doesn't just mean stronger muscles or a healthier heart. It means more oxygen and nutrients reaching your brain. It means your neurons, the cells that help you think and remember, are getting the blood flow they need to stay active and sharp. That's the power of an anti-inflammatory breakfast. It doesn't just help you move better, it helps you live better. In the next part, I'll share what happens inside your body once these foods start working, the real science of how they boost circulation, restore energy, and even support performance and vitality where it matters most. You'll see how this one small change can turn into a lifelong transformation. When Harold first told me he could feel warmth in his toes again, I knew something incredible was happening inside his body. You see, that warmth isn't just a comfort, it's a sign of life returning to the smallest blood vessels in the body, the capillaries. Those tiny pathways are like the narrow back roads of your circulation system. When they get inflamed or blocked, your energy fades, your skin looks dull, your thinking slows, and even your confidence can take a hit. But when you eat the right foods, those pathways reopen and your entire body begins to hum again. Now let's look at what's really going on under the surface when you start your day with an anti-inflammatory breakfast. Most men over 60 don't realize how sensitive their blood vessels are to what they eat. The inner lining of your arteries, called the endothelium, is like soft velvet when it's healthy. It helps your blood glide smoothly, keeps pressure steady, and allows oxygen to reach every part of you. But when inflammation sets in, that velvet turns rough. Blood doesn't flow as easily, pressure rises, your energy plummets. What causes that? It's usually those sneaky, everyday foods, refined carbs, sugar, processed oils, that trigger inflammation. They cause your immune system to release what I call fire chemicals, cytokines that attack your own tissues. But when you replace those foods with ones rich in antioxidants and omega-3 fats, you start putting out that internal fire. Harold's breakfast wasn't a magic pill. It was a daily message to his body: calm down, heal, and flow. The oats fed his good gut bacteria, which reduced inflammation. The berries delivered antioxidants that protected his arteries. The walnuts and olive oil provided omega-3s that made his blood more fluid. Slowly but surely, his arteries softened again, and his blood vessels opened up. I remember the day he told me, "Doc, I don't get winded climbing the stairs anymore." That might sound small, but it's a huge victory. When your circulation improves, your muscles get more oxygen, your heart doesn't have to pump as hard, and even your skin tone brightens. Harold said his face looked less gray in the mirror, and his wife said his hands weren't as cold when he held hers. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Improving your circulation doesn't just make you feel younger, it can make you think younger. Better blood flow means more oxygen to the brain, which supports memory and focus. Many men assume that brain fog is just part of aging, but I've seen time and time again that when circulation improves, that fog starts to clear. Harold told me, "Doc, it's like someone turned the lights back on upstairs." So let's connect the dots here. When you eat an anti-inflammatory breakfast, your blood sugar stays balanced, so your energy doesn't crash mid-morning. Your arteries stay relaxed, so your blood pressure improves. Your blood carries more oxygen, so your brain and muscles perform better. And your body feels lighter because it's not constantly fighting internal inflammation. This isn't theory, it's what happens when you feed your body the way nature intended. Now, one of the most remarkable things I noticed in Harold was how quickly his mood changed. I've seen this pattern in many patients. Chronic inflammation affects not just your joints or heart, it affects your brain chemistry. When your circulation improves and inflammation drops, your brain starts producing more serotonin and dopamine, the feel-good chemicals. Harold told me, "Doc, I wake up smiling again. I didn't realize how grumpy I'd become." That's one of the things I love most about this kind of healing. It's gentle, natural, and it touches every part of life. You're not just lowering your blood pressure, you're raising your quality of life. Now, I want to address something many men quietly wonder about, but rarely talk about: how all this connects to their vitality as men. When your blood vessels are healthy and open, they deliver oxygen and nutrients to every organ, including those that matter most to your confidence and intimacy. The same inflammation that tightens your arteries also affects your performance. When Harold improved his circulation, he didn't just feel better walking upstairs, he felt better everywhere. He told me, "Doc, I didn't expect that to come back too." And he laughed like a young man again. That's the beauty of it. When you improve one system in your body, you improve them all. So let me paint a picture of what's happening inside your body when you sit down to your anti-inflammatory breakfast tomorrow morning. You take your first bite, oats, berries, walnuts, maybe a sprinkle of cinnamon, and immediately
Your blood sugar rises slowly, not sharply. Your pancreas doesn't have to flood your body with insulin. Your arteries stay relaxed. Your gut begins digesting the fiber, feeding your good bacteria, which send calming signals throughout your immune system. Within minutes, your blood is already flowing more smoothly, your brain gets more oxygen, and your cells start functioning at their best. This is why I tell men it's not about doing 100 things right, it's about doing one thing consistently and doing it well. Start your morning with foods that fight inflammation, and you'll feel it everywhere. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, "Doc, I've been eating the same thing for 40 years. Can I really change now?" My answer is absolutely yes. It's never too late. The body is incredibly forgiving. Even after decades of inflammation, your arteries can heal, your energy can return, and your mind can sharpen. You just have to give your body a reason to do it. Before we go on, if you're finding this message valuable, if you're starting to understand how deeply breakfast influences your circulation, go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps me share this information with more seniors who need it. And please type yes in the comments if you've ever noticed a change in how your body feels after eating. I read every one of them, and your feedback truly shapes the advice I share here. Now, Harold's transformation didn't stop at feeling better. He started living differently. He began walking every morning after breakfast, just a few blocks at first, then more. With better circulation, his muscles recovered faster, his joints hurt less, and his motivation grew. "Doc, I'm not just eating better, I'm living better." And that's exactly what this is all about. What's so powerful about the anti-inflammatory breakfast isn't that it's trendy or complicated, it's that it works with your body's natural rhythm.
When Harold came in for his 6-month checkup, he didn't look like the same man who first sat in my office. He'd lost a bit of weight, not much, but enough that his clothes fit better. His eyes were clearer, his hands were warm, and his energy was steady. But what struck me most wasn't his appearance, it was his confidence. He said, "Doc, my mornings don't drag anymore. I wake up feeling alive." And that right there is the quiet power of small, consistent change. Most men think they need drastic diets, expensive supplements, or long workouts to restore circulation and energy after 60. But often, it starts with one simple ritual. One meal that tells your body every morning, "I'm on your side." I remember Harold describing his new mornings like this. "It's peaceful. I take a few minutes to make my oats, warm up the blueberries, add a drizzle of olive oil, and I sit by the window while I eat. It's like the calm before the day." That habit, unhurried, nourishing, and deliberate, became his foundation. His breakfast wasn't just food anymore. It was a moment of self-care. And in men's health, that's something we often overlook. See, when you build a consistent morning habit, your body starts trusting you again. It adjusts your hormones, your metabolism, even your blood pressure around that rhythm. Every anti-inflammatory meal you eat reinforces the message that healing is happening. Over time, it becomes effortless, a way of life, not a diet. Now, I want to take a step back and talk about the long-term impact of this kind of breakfast, because what happens over months and even years is far more profound than most people realize. When you eat anti-inflammatory foods consistently, you're not just managing symptoms, you're slowing the processes that cause aging itself. Inflammation is like rust on a car. You might not notice it day to day, but it slowly wears down your systems, from your joints to your arteries, even your brain. But when you eat foods rich in antioxidants, omega-3s, and fiber, you're essentially oiling those parts every day. Your circulation improves, your digestion becomes smoother, your energy steadier, and your organs, especially your heart and brain, stay younger longer. Harold didn't just get better circulation, he got a new lease on life. He began walking farther each morning. He reconnected with friends. His wife told me he was more playful and attentive than he had been in years. And he said something that I'll never forget. "Doc, I thought getting older meant losing things,
but I'm gaining things back. That, my friends, is why I do what I do. Now, let me give you a few simple, practical ways to make this anti-inflammatory breakfast a permanent part of your life. Because consistency is where the real magic happens. First, make it easy. Keep the ingredients visible and ready. A jar of oats, a bowl of walnuts, a small container of frozen berries, nothing fancy. When you can see it, you'll use it. Second, prep ahead. If mornings are tough for you, make overnight oats. Mix oats, almond milk, and cinnamon in a jar the night before. In the morning, just top it with berries and olive oil. It's quick, delicious, and you'll have no excuses. Third, treat breakfast as your medicine, not in a restrictive way, but as an act of nourishment. When you eat, think, this meal is improving my blood flow, it's clearing my arteries, it's fueling my brain. That mindset shift makes the habit stronger. And finally, enjoy it. Healthy food shouldn't feel like punishment. Add flavors you love, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger. Change up the fruit or nuts. The more you enjoy it, the longer you'll stick with it. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't a cure-all. Life still has stress, aging still happens, and no food can make you immortal. But what this kind of breakfast does is give your body the best possible conditions to thrive. It helps your heart pump more freely, your brain think more clearly, and your manhood stay strong and responsive. Because when circulation improves, everything improves. Energy, confidence, mood, performance, even how you carry yourself. I've seen it over and over again in my 30+ years of men's health work, and it never stops amazing me. So if you've been waking up feeling stiff, tired, or foggy, start tomorrow differently. Skip the cereal and toast. Instead, choose the breakfast that gives back. Try it for 7 days, then 2 weeks, then a month. Watch what happens. Feel what happens. And when you start to notice that spark returning, that morning clarity, that steady warmth, that renewed energy,